You heard Reverend Nichols, because we've had many casual conversations. He stated before Reverend Tingley and myself that he never consults Spirit on issues of church or organization. I would like to go by the guidance of Reverend Tingley. After all, many times I sit in those seances and receive that guidance. Who am I to judge the guidance of Spirit? Well,
Let's take the issue of that.
No.
It's the point that the rest of us weren't informed of what was going on.
that's true, because the reason why things weren't informed, if I might say so, were because there was a lot of politics going on at once. And it could have caused a big uproar and disturbed the peace and sanctity of this church.
And I understand that, but you're saying that, but we're also approving the minutes. Those two things oppose each other.
Well,
It's
true.
like,
Right.
on one hand, we're saying, let's embrace that the meeting happened, let's disregard it. On the other hand, we're saying by approving the minutes that it did happen, and we're first and seconding the motion that the meeting occurred. We can't do both at the same time, is all I'm saying. I'm not arguing the point about Reverend Nichols or whether he consults Spirit.
Right.
That's separate from actually, the order of this meeting and whether or not we're going to, make legitimate that meeting that occurred 2 years ago. That's my opinion.
So then you make a motion that it's null and void and that we consider if these issues should be brought up and be voted on again? I mean, at least now we've been told that that was null and void, but we weren't informed of that before.
That's true.
Now we can act on it accordingly.
How about if we take a vote on, if we all agree that Reverend Tingley made the right decision, it's in the best interest of the church, does that meeting be set aside?
I don't think so, because I think there were some good points in that meeting.
Yes,
Gary.
there was.
Some very good points that should be considered. I think there should be a meeting definitely set just to consider that other meeting and which parts of it we're going to keep and which parts we're going to discard.
Or if it's voted on, then it be set aside, at least we have a chance to bring these issues up again and settle down. Because we were in the mindset that these issues were settled, and they're not.
Oh,
Plus, there
also,
were
wait a
things
minute,
at the
wait a minute.
meeting that weren't germane to the bylaws and universal. I mean, there was other business conducted at that meeting that has also not been acted upon.
I just remembered when you mentioned about bringing the materials back here to the church. Right after that meeting was when we began working on the construction work in the chapel. And Reverend John and Reverend Tingley both told me it would be best to wait until all that was done because of all that stuff going on. And then there's been other things. There's been, his office has been painted, and now we're waiting for carpeting. And there will be a reasonable settlement on that issue.
Thank you for that.
But if there are questions, that they feel we could bring up again on something that took place at that meeting, but I think the main issue with that meeting was the subject of our independence. I think that
Under their laws.
Now, a lot of file cabinets because you can put it in his office.
he wants it in his office. This is his wish. I asked him where he wanted it, and this is what he said.
May I
He
say
wanted it
something?
in his office.
In past years, when it wasn't in the office, people were rifling through the records. When it was in the office, excuse me. I found people, and I'm not going to mention any names, I no longer remember who, rifling through those papers and taking out things. So it does have to be kept under lock and key, and it is a locked filing cabinet, isn't it?
Yes, incidentally, the whole reason why they are in my possession was Reverend Tingley asked me, in fact he asked me several times before I finally did it, to take them, because we had that burglar problem here, and somebody had gone in there and scattered papers all over the floor and destroyed a lot of them. And for other reasons, he wanted me to take them, and that's why that was done.
Can I say something?
Mhm.
I know I feel kind of lost here. But shouldn't we leave it up to staff members to give us the answer to that? Who should be in participation? I don't think everybody should be having the say so to this.
Secretary Treasurer, sure.
Well, then it
I
should be with her.
overturned it. We're
So,
all with
so
it.
why is everybody disturbed? I mean, there's too many divisions here. Who do the papers really belong to?
Well, I think that's why Reverend Tingley suggested I take them in the beginning, because I was secretary, and he felt it was, in safekeeping that they be there, and
So it makes me feel like everybody's thinking you confiscate papers. It's not at all that way. I mean, really,
No, but once they go to Corrine, they're buried, and the membership can't see them.
They're going to be in the office. They're going to be in the office here,
they will be here shortly.
so that's why we're remodeling that. We were going to talk about putting it in the boutique room, but because of the profits that can be made from the rummage sales, where else in the whole entire church can it be safely put away? See what I mean? And we just couldn't leave it out in the open.
And they've got to be locked.
They've got to be locked, and the secretary would be responsible for them, but they would be stored in the pastor's office, being that space is very, very limited here of privacy.
So does it require a vote whether or not we consider the last meeting on the board? Or does it just require a vote?
Just a motion.
Well, that would probably require a vote, but to accept the minutes as is,
Yeah.
as read, just requires a motion.
That's right.
I mean, that's a separate point.
I think there's several points to be made that the minutes as they were, but this meeting to consider the points left out. That people are concerned and want to, still be points that are made.
At the last meeting, there were 2 tape recorders going here.
I'm
And
not saying.
No, what I'm asking is, who had the second one? Maybe there's still a good set around somewhere. If there's a good tape around somewhere, we need it. I don't remember who the other person was at tape.
I just think that we should, we're going to be independent. Does everybody agree that we should be independent?
Yes.
Yes.
That's unanimous.
What the question is been presented is that you were saying set that reading aside. We're saying it's validating or valid points made that we don't
Right.
necessarily want to disregard. We like to at least bring those points back up again and vote on them.
Yeah.
We just wanted information, and now it's as a matter of record now.
Points other than the charter. Anybody's question. There were other points in this meeting that people don't want disregarded if we make that meeting.
That's true, I agree with that.
So now it is a matter of record, and we can continue on with the points.
We also need to finish up Mac's suggestion. Would you like to make a motion, Mac, that we have a bylaw committee?
I wasn't understood. I am not making a complaint against Reverend Nicholls, and I never have, but I'm not even angry at it.
Nobody's.
I don't understand why you didn't call.
well, that's what lost. And I gained.
Just lost something.
So we just accept it. Forget it.
Mac, you can make a motion.
Are you ready for the motion?
Mac,
Okay, I make a motion
there.
that a committee is appointed to establish the regulation and bylaws for the First Spiritualist Church. And in that, I would make a suggestion that the committee set aside a certain yearly date for that membership meeting, such as, in this case, is the last Saturday in May. That's good as any, I guess, but some particular day. That's what we used to have years ago. It was the first Saturday of May or something. I don't remember now.
The last one kind of conflicts with Memorial Day. Earlier would be better.
Well, make it the third Saturday in May.
Oh,
Is
how
the
about the
psychic
Psychic fair.
How about the
The
second?
second would be better.
That's Mother's Day.
Day.
Oh, great.
All right, maybe the first then. The first then.
Well, why not move it into the first Saturday in June?
Oh, well, it's always been May.
Well, that's vacation time for some people. That's why it's here. What's wrong with the first Saturday?
Well,
in May?
That's all right.
Point of order, wouldn't that be left up to the bylaws committee who write the bylaws?
Yeah, I
Decide
think
that?
Bylaw committee should be able to
I
set
think
that.
Right, right.
that's the answer.
Yeah. I'll second Mike's motion. Do I have to vote on the motion?
Would you ask to vote on the motion that Reverend McGuinn has made?
Yes. Would anyone like to make a motion on that?
It's been made,
Well,
seconded.
Mac made it and Lori seconded it.
Oh, we need to call for the vote.
All right. What do you want, a second motion on that?
No, those in favor.
Oh, those in favor of this motion,
Raise your hand.
yeah, raise your hand.
Those who are not in favor,
Yeah.
raise their hand.
Well, I didn't think there were enough. Those who are not in favor of this motion, please raise your hand. Okay. So, is there any more to be discussed on this?
You need to, right,
Pardon?
you need to appoint the committee.
Oh,
Three, I suppose.
well, who is going to appoint the committee then?
You're supposed to.
I'm supposed to. Yeah.
I would be happy to, but my time is at the point now where I'm not able to serve the way I would like to.
So you would.
Yeah, I will have to respectfully decline. I would love to, but I will have to respectfully decline.
Well, Reverend Mack
I
then?
have no intention.
That's good enough.
You'll be on, you'll be on the committee? Or
Can I sit- May I recommend Reverend Grotzky?
I would volunteer.
Fine.
I would like to volunteer if that's agreeable.
That's not agreeable. Secretary,
How come?
you're an officer.
Well, John is too, he's a trustee.
Well, he's not
John's
allowed
not
to help you.
volunteering.
Well, then you can't be on the committee then. You would be, yeah.
No, I-
you would be president.
Serve on the board, and what I do is if I volunteer to work on the committee, I can serve
I don't know who else would be doing it. What do we need, one more?
We need 3. How many we got now? We got who? We got where?
We did this 2 years ago.
Yeah, you've done it.
Mike.
You've done this.
Mac said he didn't want it, didn't he?
Mike said he
Mac
didn't
changed
want
his mind, didn't he?
Yes.
Could
Reverend
Mac-
Tingley take it?
Didn't Mac change his mind?
No, we will let it.
You want to be on it, Mac, or not?
I said yes.
Okay,
I said
okay,
that. I didn't-
okay.
Oh, I
We thought you said no.
Could Reverend Tingley serve on that committee?
Don't see why not.
Good.
Is there anything standing in the way of that? If he would accept it. Well, he'd accept it.
I'll accept it.
I mean, all the committee's doing is writing the bylaws. It has
That's
to be
right.
voted on by the members, so.
All we do is proposing it. And then
I got all the old forms of the past ones anyway.
Your work office. Yeah. We can discuss any points whenever the other meetings can be.
Okay. Then let's see, where do we go from here then? Is there anything more to discuss on the secretary's report then? Before we go to anything else?
Not very good.
Well, we're not accepting it. Except for the 3, fine.
Mac, Reverend Tingley, and Claire Grotzky. All right. Maybe have the treasurer's report then?
Oh, we're thinking we already did that. Okay, since it was such a long time since the last meeting, the normally we would have had the fiscal year end at the time of the last meeting in last August. Okay, so I made up this report in 2 parts. Like, this first part would be what I would have given you had we had the meeting last August. That would have been from the previous August to that one, all right? The balance on hand at that time, that was right after the last meeting, August 22nd, 1992. The balance on hand was 807.14. And the income went like this. Sunday collection, $5,002. Tuesday, $2,006. Coffee hours, $229.81. Dinners, $1,158.50. Raffles, $480. I was surprised at that. $480 and 19 cents. That was very good. And prior rummage was $500 even. That was excellent. Incidentally, we were not having rummage sales that whole year. The first seminar in November of '92, we ourselves made a profit of $447. And Maple Grove had 840 plus all that from the readings and the seances and all that. In other words, okay, Ernest Nicholls had 780 in his seance, $780. Keeling, 600, and Keeling gave us 10% of his. He was the only one that did. Rosemary Keith. Oh yeah, here it is. Rosemary Keith had 7 readings and 7 seances. It was 210 and 245. Okay. The Sunday school, which only ran for a few short months, was $14.60. The psychic fairs, altogether for that year total of $6,524. The Advent, that was December 92, $43.80. The Lenten of Easter 93 was $231. That was good for that, $231.75. And altogether, it made a total income of $16,987.05. The disbursements were Columbia Gas, $111.14. Wait a minute. The budget began in November, and the 3 years between the time of that meeting before the budget went into effect were 114. It's 1114. It's 1114, 14 and 31. It was very low because of the summertime then. And then beginning in November, the budget on Grace Hall became effective as 152, and for the 10 months from then until the next meeting would have been 1520. And the chapel budget was 115, and that made 1150. The electric was $1,049. Water, $164. That's quarterly. That's 41 times 4, 164. The parking lot is $40 a month, and that's $480 for the year. Our insurance is $129, and that's also on a quarterly basis. We have very fine coverage of fire and liability at a very reasonable rate. $129 quarterly comes to $516 for the whole year. And the Orkin termite problem, we paid off completely in October 92. That balance was $392.99. And we also had been carrying a loan, and that was paid off at that same time in November of 92, and that balance was $907.63.
Paid it off.
That completely paid off as of then. That's what it took to pay it off. Then the Herald newspaper for the whole year was $84. That's a small ad I run for the psychic fair.
Small.
The Herald. This is not the Blade. The Herald. Okay, the total disbursements was $6,636.72. Oh no, that's only up. Oh, okay, that was up to then. And okay, then the Blade. All these other disbursements. I have two totals. Okay, the count for the second total was the Blade. $1,489. AT&T was $180. The phone, $325. Sears is $420. This is the whole year. Real estate tax is $100.67. That's twice a year. Postage stamps was $28 for the year. Heflin printing, $64. That was way back when we were doing the Psychic Fair flyers. And postage for the flyers was $97.24. The Lenten was $44. Oh, this is what it costs to buy the folders for the Lenten and the Advent. And we buy for more than enough for 1 year. We buy for like 2 or 3 years at a time. Anyway, it came to $44. Handy Andy with miscellaneous light bulbs and and some of the blue lights and a dish pan, and it came to $21.64. The overhead for the dinners, it's 50 times 12 months is $600. The coffee hour is $20 a month, and that was $240. Lee Winder's florist was $29, and the whole thing came to $11,085. That's the disbursement. Okay, that was up until August 93. And then we began a new, that was like we were going according to Maple Grove, and that's when they ended their fiscal year, and that's what we did for about 3 or 4 years. So now, you'll notice on your membership cards I made them out from May to May, because that's how we'll be doing our fiscal year from now on. Okay, the income this past year, from last August until now, this is not a full year, from last August until now. Sunday, $5,756.31. Tuesday, $1,422.98. Tuesday has been doing very well. Coffee hour, $197. Dinners, $629. Raffles, $510.83. You've been doing very well on them. Prior rummage, $200 so far. And that wonderful antique collectible rummage sale that Reverend Tingley and John ran was $1,000, just from that one sale, was $1,057.34. And $50 of that was used to put a nice new fluorescent light in Reverend Tingley's office. The Advent for last December was $140.90. And Lenten for this past Easter, $174.50. The November 93 seminar last November, our profit was only $188, and their profit, counting everything, was something like $1,100. That's counting the seances, readings, everything. Let's see. Our carpeting, the Emmons were so wonderful, they donated $640 for the carpeting. And our bake sales came to $101.85, and that was largely from Helene's efforts. She did practically all the baking for 2 sales. In our Christmas Eve last December, that was a wonderful innovation that Lori started, having Christmas Eve service. And last one was $93.10. And then this past year, this has been very unusual as far as donations. We have had a remarkable number, and some of them very sizable donations. Most of the sizable ones went for specific purposes like the ceiling and the roof and the construction work. Anyway, the total of all the donations, this is for every purpose, not just construction, the total was $2,195. And that's very encouraging. So, the income so far this year up until now is $15,065.67. Oh, also we had, I didn't include this in the earlier raffle. We had a special gem tree raffle, and also a jewelry pendant raffle, and Easter baskets. And all 3 of those items were for the building in some way, construction or whatever. That totaled $70.87. and Reverend John was very conscientious about his healing class when he held that. He held back the biggest part, practically all the money, to be used for the kitchen fund, which he still has, waiting for that, and that came to $569.
Which he has.
$569 from his healing class alone. And way back, I think it was the first seminar we had, Donna Cox, who was a woman that came with the Hensleys, won a 50-50. Her half was $14.50, and she wanted to use that to begin the kitchen fund, so that was the beginning of that. That was a couple years ago. And then, it was, November of '92. So then, at that time, Reverend Tingley had just given a reading to Nancy Stein, and that was $25, and he said, well, here, add this to the kitchen fund. So that brought the total up to $39.50, plus what John has from his class.
Who's Nancy Stein?
Murph Ivy's friend.
Oh.
Okay.
And I donated those expensive statues, and I hope you all like them.
Beautiful. Make the church.
And I've donated all the electricity and
For all the power tools, and ladies and gentlemen, those lights were burning late many a nights. For all the work, for all the woodwork and all the projects and things, it was all done over at Reverend Tingley's house.
That's John running the saw in Reverend Tingley's
in my
basement.
house.
Reverend Crane, where was the 92 Christmas service put in with?
Did I read that?
Oh, you said 93, but not the 92.
Oh, I had them
This one's
both down
bigger.
here. I thought I read it. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, as long as
No,
you
wait a minute. I got
accounted
it
for it
somewhere.
somewhere in it. Just went to the ladies' room.
Both of those services you did extremely well. What I did was I had that on my rough copy, and then when I copied it over, I made a mistake here.
Don't worry about it, Crane. I'll take your word. It was thrown in somewhere.
It was right around the same amount. I think it was $99 or something like that. This is the first copy, and then I copied it over.
Yeah.
And, don't you have a phone call?
No, that's Marjorie.
Well, Marjorie, she knows.
Well,
Never mind. Verna, my apologies. I'm going to have to leave. I have another commitment I'm already late for.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was going to take so long.
I didn't know it was gonna be this long either, and I didn't know this would. Well, listen, we're
I think
gonna
it's
have-
Mike,
we
but
have
I'm not sure.
elections too.
Marjorie? I think it's Mike, but I'm not sure.
Excuse me, Lori's first one in '92, Christmas Eve, was $99.87. The second one was $93.10.
I don't know what the plan was, but I was going to pledge allegiance line, so that
We have to balance that line.
Lori, she found it.
Yeah, that I heard. Thank you.
You did very well on both of those services. Does anyone want to hear the disbursements?
Balance.
It's the balance.
The balance at the present moment,
At this time, I
Yes.
think
900
I'm working off the organization.
yeah, and everything is paid, believe it or not. That's the first time for a long time. We had that wonderful antique sale and we had fair anything. Okay, the balance on hand right at the moment is 982.
Served, and nobody's asking. So
982.22.
Oh, no, we didn't have it.
That's wonderful.
And everything is paid. Everything. Why don't we have an intermission and have some cookies to go to the bathroom before we have our election?
Curly, may I make a thing? I think we as a body we've done a lot here on the church. There's been lots of volunteer labor. But there's one person in particular that is not a particular member of our family, on the books at least, has contributed very, very heavily towards that, and that being Hardy.
Absolutely.
And I think he should
Absolutely.
get around it. Well, she has a little bit.
Thank you very much.
She furnished food every day.
But I'm very upset what Reverend Nicholls is trying to do. And I'm very surprised that members don't speak out. I think it's a terrible thing. I have been in many Catholic meetings about money, church building. Anything like this would have happened. One of them would have gone out of order like this. You know, I don't want to, you know yourself, I don't want to say it. That's not the way to treat you. You're so much better off to be independent.
See, we're just becoming aware of
Again,
what the
thanks to our reference who pulled everybody out.
He's the only one with the spiritual guidance enough to do it.
I want to tell you something, maybe I could tell you something else. Reverend Ringwood has tears in his eyes. When we started working here, John, right here, Reverend Matt, myself, there was the project, there was no money, you know. Finally we got to the point that we were able to play the organ. And Reverend Mac was all excited to come in and what should you do? The organ isn't working. I said, well, you have to plug it in. I forgot to plug it in. So what happened is, I couldn't believe it. I was just stunned. I was working up there and I hear the organ being played. And you know how it was played? Tears were running down his face. He was so happy that we finally got to the point. And how can he play? It's just great. And here's another man. He was here every day. Thousands and thousands of dollars that he received for the work which he did. He never says a word. And here is another gentleman right there, John. He's a great, great man. He does so much for the church. He's always here and works. He gets nothing. And he puts his heart in. Since you're here now, I think it would be a good idea to, maybe I'm jumping the gun, maybe somebody will not like it what I say. I think it would be time that you make Reverend John the assistant pastor here, because it is very important when you walk into a church that you feel, wow, there's always somebody here looking out for me. And if you go to the, well, not necessarily here, out east, to the churches, and you will always find somebody by the door to greet you. Always will you find somebody on the door when you leave. And this makes you feel good. Bring up the attendance. And Reverend Bingley, all the things he does, well, you know yourself.
Your remarks are a valuable addition to our meetings. I wish you were members.
I would like to make I don't know whether you call this a motion, just suggestion, no say a motion. Hardy and his wife Dorothy have never wanted to become members here on account of other affiliation with other churches. So why can't we make him an honor, or make him both honorary member?
Yes, that's a wonderful idea.
That way we sort of adopt them, you know what I mean, in our family.
I second the motion. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Oh, unanimous.
We will also talk about something else. I brought it up once and I thought it would be so nice. How about if the church here would do something different? And what can you do different? Well, you will be way ahead of other churches. And what that would be is you would open your doors here and advertise it today and for free chicken. And say free.
Right.
Do something for the people that they can walk off the street and come in and eat. There are churches who are doing it.
Yes, that's true.
I will go, I know Mr. Churchill, the president, very well. We ski together all over. And I will go and get chicken from him. I know that.
Let's talk about the kitchen bit first.
And so it would be nice if the church would do something.
I think that's actually
To reach out.
I know it's not easy, but if you do that, how great that would be. There's so many organizations in the city which give food for people who really need food. I think that would be a good thing to do. And there was something else, and I was kind of disappointed. We were invited to go to Seagate here, and the lady, Pasquale, Francois, she is also here in the
Oh,
church.
Consuela.
Yes, yes. She's a very nice lady. She was picked out. Hundreds of people were present, and she was picked out as the woman being here. It was tremendous. It was so tremendous. She walked up to the stage, and there she was here. And there were, what was so great is, I don't want to go into all the details, there were 60 ministers from the churches of Toledo, but there was not one minister from spiritual. Not one minister, not from any of the churches. It was kind of, and the mayor especially wrote a proclamation about the situation in the city to come together and pray together. Christian movement. By the way, the churches made sure that he became mayor, in case you don't know that. Because Werner, he was about like 25% ahead, he proposed and everything else, but he beat him. But I don't want to go into whatever happened. So it would have been nice to also see, because they honored every one of them. They come up there, they announce who it is, the talk.
What if that was that thing? What if that is that you're speaking of? You don't know.
Oh, Seagate, thousands of people. Seagate.
What was it called?
Well, it's called the Revival of 94 for the
Renaissance
purpose of Renaissance
to bring
Toledo.
all the people together. Because of race, color, all the things. Crime. The crime. The crime in Toledo is so bad that the mayor of Toledo, there's all the people across the nation, invited everybody, all those people.
And, all, it made no difference if you're a Chinese or a other person or whatever, or white or green or blue. And that's just what we were emphasizing, that we are together, And it means a lot also for your church here, because people will come. Hey, what did they say? It was a spiritual ministry. It was giving a talk. But
That would have been a good thing, but we didn't
But it
know
will
about
come
it.
again in September. No.
I didn't
It
know
will be a
about
good
it.
thing to do. And all the politicians are here. I don't mean just one mayor. All the politicians, all the lawyers, all the judges, and all the...
I wonder about there's lots of things offered in the city of Toledo.
Yes.
And we don't join in any of them.
I know, that's why I brought this out about, But anyhow, I shouldn't talk so much.
Before
Yes.
Suicide died, they always came together.
There was 3 other women.
And see the other women, it was tremendous.
Was she recognized?
Yes, she was recognized and she was healed at the same time. While she walked up there, it was just fantastic. I said, I know that lady, I know that lady, Got excited about it. So it was very interesting, But anyhow.
Consuela.
Connie.
Venezuela.
So when she comes next, then we can say. Sorry.
Take an intermission, yes. Intermission?
Take an intermission?
All those in favor of taking a break?
Break.
While we're on a break, I need to ask, I need a ride home. Anybody take me home?
We haven't had the election yet.
Well, I mean, when we go.
We didn't want to go in your direction. If no one volunteers going your direction.
Sure, hurry up. Houston said I have to go to the bathroom. Beat her to it.
You're over here.
Oh,
I had left right. I thought, what I wanted was whether, so if I could just hold it, so I'm going to give a new business I'm telling about all these things that are going on in our churches last year.
I believe that's the time that you would do that.
Before the
Oh, definitely.
before the election.
Definitely.
That's what I figured,
Definitely.
but I didn't know. So
Yeah, because it's important so that they would
oh,
that's good.
I was doing one.
Right.